Welcome back to Andertons TV. And look, my special guest today is Ilja from Gamechanger Audio. He's here with a couple of his crewmates all the way from Latvia, which is crazy. So let's go back 2018, is that right? 2018, 2017, when you guys first exhibited at the NAMM show.
Yeah, Haley, thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was a cool jam, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, what year is it now? It's
2023.
Okay, so yeah, I think it must have been 2018 when we met at NAMM with the plasma pedal.
Which was mad because I remember, you know, hitting the NAMM show, and you're always kind of hoping to find that new thing that you can be the one that sort of discovers it. And I remember getting a text message saying there's this thing called the plasma pedal, and it's literally trending on Instagram. You have to find them. So found the stand. You guys were all dressed in your black suits and black tie, and I kind of. You had the dark glasses, and I thought you were trying to be Men in Black, but you were trying to be Reservoir Dogs, whatever it was. And very, very quickly, it became apparent that you, as a pedal maker, were not trying to make pedals in the mold of, the famous guys that have gone before you. You clearly were trying to incorporate some very different and unique engineering aspects to the products that you're doing. So tell everybody how does it, three buddies from Latvia start a pedal company together? Not just a pedal company anymore either, by the way. Pedals and synths now.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's exactly right. Like the whole philosophy of Gamechanger Audio, obviously, as the name implies, is to make something that's to create audio products that like audio devices, or we actually inside the team we call them instruments. We even we refer to them as musical instruments. We want to make things that are not rehashed ideas, that are original. Kind of like we're trying to there is a little bit of a checklist for an idea to pass as a game changer idea, and like most of the things that we kind of talked about, but yeah, some of them pass through all the criteria, and then we get to make them. But yeah, the circuitry has to be either the circuitry or the sound or the physical kind of user interface has to have a certain unique thing that changes or enhances the way the musician experiences playing the instrument. So, for example, we started off with one pedal idea, and like that's how me and two other guys we started working together, two engineers, and because the basic idea was kind of simple. Like, let's make a piano pedal that will look like a piano pedal. It's going to be called Plus, and it's going to work beautifully with all audio, with all instruments, all audio sources. And then obviously we worked for a period of, like I would say, 18 months or so, trying to get that off the ground and get that going. And that involved for one of the engineers to learn coding. For my other colleague, Christoph, at the time, it involved learning properly learning everything there is to know about, like setting up a manufacturing kind of facility and manufacturing process and parts sourcing. And for me, I learned I was working also with another engineer on the physical design of the pedal, and then just obviously testing everything. So we kind of started off with this one idea, and it took us a really long time to come up with a name for the company, and we chose Gamechanger Audio after a long period of just writing down stupid names on. But in the end, that Gamechanger name is the kind of the constant reminder that there is always a really high bar, and every new thing you do has to be, you need to be able to show and prove that it's actually a new circuit or a new idea.
Yeah. The aesthetic of all the products is very beautiful. Like you say, it would have been easy to have done the Plus pedal in a stomp box, like a Boss pedal or whatever, but you've chosen to do the sustain pedal from a piano, and I think it's a beautiful design. I love what you've done on the Bigsby, the way you've done the reverb tank, the way it illuminates, the way that you see the bulb essentially in there, kind of like it's very. They're really, really pleasing to look at.
What we wanted to do with the Plus pedal is this feeling of, even if you walk into a store and you see it displayed, you don't know anything about it. You look at that and you're like, okay, I know that this exists now. Even though obviously there was the freeze pedal has been out for a while, but a lot of people had no idea that it's like a sostenuto function for guitars is an option or something like that. So in a way, obviously there's differences in the algorithm itself, and that's a different topic. But what we want to achieve with all of our products is that even if you know nothing about it, even if you don't know what Gamechanger audio is, if you come into a store and you see, okay, that's a tremolo bar on the pedal, and you instantly know what it's going to do, you instantly want to try it, and we want you to go like, oh my God, why has nobody done this before?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the effect that we want to achieve.
I hadn't even realized. So on the freeze pedal, the Plus pedal, you were using that as a pitch bend, I think, during that opening jam.
No, I was doing it as a drone.
Right.
So I was layering up a few layers and then raising the pitch with the Bigsby pedal. That's on the floor.
I was clearly not paying attention to what you were doing with both dim pedals. So give us a little, for people perhaps that this is their first time, maybe they've heard of Gamechanger and seen the pedals. Just give us a quick sort of. Can you even do that without that being on the floor? Can you kind of give us?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no problem. So for those who don't know, this is the Plus pedal, and it's we just discussed what it does. It's the piano sostenuto effect for guitars and other instruments. But what it does, it's based on an algorithm that we have called real-time sampling. So it runs a continuous audio recording buffer, and it's constantly doing a type of analysis of the signal, and it's looking for transients.
So whether you've touched the pedal or not, it's constantly recording, so it's ready to effectively go as soon as
exactly. So it keeps up like a recording buffer, and anytime, like as soon as you engage the pedal by holding down the foot, the brass foot pedal, it considers that moment to be the on moment, and it kind of scans the most recently recorded audio wave shape, and makes it like basically the program makes a decision. It chooses the largest available chunk of audio to form a loop out of, to form a continuous loop out of. So instead of using,
that is like a piano would do, isn't it? It's because the pedal on you've played the chord already, and you're just taking the damper off the strings to allow the chord to.
Yeah, I mean, like the movement is kind of similar where you go on the upbeat like that.
Yeah. But a normal freeze pedal it doesn't start to record what you're playing until you hit the pedal. So there's a slight different.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, the idea here is that.
That's cool.
The idea is that when you're using this real-time audio algorithm, like audio sampling algorithm, you can create larger loops, which basically translate into higher quality. So it depends on how you play the pedal, but you can achieve very realistic sounding loops, and you can also have those loops translate onto any instrument, sort of. For example, there's lots of videos on YouTube of musicians using the Plus pedal with acoustic pianos, violins, cellos, saxophones, and trumpets, and so on, and acoustic instruments, even voice, because of the nature of how the algorithm was created, it's suitable to capturing the precise timbre of any instrument. Amazing. So, for example, here, I'm gonna just show you, like, if I take I'm gonna do like some notes that are like kind of bassier. So you can also do you can do pick scratches and stuff like that. So basically, you can trick the algorithm into recording some kind of wrong notes as well, wrong sounds.
That's very cool. Well, look, I'm sure we'll put in the description below where you can perhaps go and find some more extended demos of these pedals. But we're going to go through just kind of what came next, and so
I actually have to say a big thanks to you, because when we finished this, we had a prototype in our hands, and we didn't know like how. Okay, now what? Right, that moment kind of, and then. We had money to go to LA to go to a NAMM show, but we didn't really have a stand. We didn't have a booth, and we didn't know how anything is done. So we just had the handmade prototype, and we thought, okay, we'll just go to the big show. We've heard about the NAMM show. That was like a long time ago. That was, I think, 2017.
Right.
So yeah, and we were lucky enough to have a fellow Latvian instrument maker who's is still doing like brass wind instruments. He allowed us to just crash in the corner of his booth, and then on the second day of the show, I think Andertons TV was the video that was responsible for us, like people even finding out about our booth because we were in the woodwind section. And I mean, like it's sometimes so funny, but like I mean, you guys did our video. It was Dan and Mick at the time,
right?
And they did the video for us, and literally the next day we were on the map. We were officially a company at that point.
That's right. We did have that. We had that 1 or 2 years where Dan and Mick kind of. I don't know if maybe they just started that pedal show or something, but they came out and they represented Andertons doing the pedal section of the show.
And everyone was like, "Oh, look at this! Welcome to NAMM."
It's such a I've not been to NAMM now for maybe 3-4 years because since before the pandemic, and it's just like I can't wait to for it to get back to its full madness that it used to be. But anyway, so
but I mean that show really, I mean it worked.
That's the point.
It made us
that is the point
officially a company.
That's the point, I think, of the NAMM show is a launch platform for cool new products.
And also, I mean, I just wanted to say that it was your video.
You're very welcome. Obviously, I shall send you my invoice.
Yes, priceless. Yeah.
So come on, what's next? Plasma pedal?
Then like we had the name Gamechanger Audio. One pedal was out. We crowdfunded pretty much.
Yes.
Like that's how we got everything into production.
Yeah.
We did crowdfunding with pretty much all of our products. Basically, we started taking pre-orders on the Plus, and then it took us around a year to implement the manufacturing line and so on. And that's a different story. But while we were doing that, we were like scratching our heads and saying to ourselves, okay, what do we do next? We're called Gamechanger Audio when we have one pedal. And we're not always being taken very seriously by people, because they thought maybe it's like some people thought like, okay, you got like it's a one-off thing, like weird startup-y thing, but there's no way like they're game changer. Come on, you have one pedal. So we just thought, okay, let's. So at that time, we really wanted to do the Bigsby pedal already. We already had that idea for a while, but we didn't know how to tackle something so technologically like complicated, and also we didn't know how to approach a big brand like that and ask them to do that. We thought we need to get a little bit more so-called credibility. So we were, we had absolutely no idea what to do with as our next pedal for a really long time. And then we went to Summer NAMM, just with the Plus pedal, just also to gain experience and see what it's all about and so on. And then we did a bit of traveling because the Summer NAMM, that's Nashville, that's a different part of the United States. And we did a bit of traveling, and we were in a place called, it was an Airbnb in a place called Buckhorn,
Kentucky. There's an American name for a town.
There was one gas station, town hall, and a church. And like that's it. And then no internet reception, no phone reception. So we were staying at that place, and they had a front porch kind of setup with this thing called the bug zapper. and we
Right.
were like the bug zapper. For those who don't know it, that's the like when you have an insect problem, a
Yeah.
bug zapper is a really good thing to have. You're trying to cook outside
Yeah.
or sit or enjoy the, you know.
So the bug zapper, that
And we
kind
just
of the,
like we had no idea, like we're from Latvia, it snows there and there's no bugs, like like no bug problem at all. So we were just kind of like having a laugh about this invention that's just going mad, like just like cooking protein nonstop on the front porch, and we just were laughing at that thing and taking pictures of it, and then we thought, okay, but and then for some reason when we came back from that trip, then that idea of using high voltage electrical discharge just somehow appeared, materialized. I don't know. I don't really remember exactly how it happened, but I think there was just me and the engineers just talking about could we do something with that stupid thing, because it's just a transformer, like a little you know.
I mean, that's what I was using in that opening, you know. It's just a really fat, raspy, heavily gated fuzz. But you've obviously incorporated a very unique way of manipulating the audio to say using, diodes and transistors and stuff.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so what, I almost, that's the game changer bit, right? I guess just do it differently.
Yeah, this is actually is. It should be considered an original circuit, because, for example, I have told the story a lot, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't know. But for example, it's been already 4 or 5 years since this has been out, but we still get questions sometimes from people: is this a light show, or is this a LED, or is this a screen or something?
Yeah.
No, this is actually the audio signal that's being generated by your instrument, only expressed as an electrical arc. The electrical arc is created in a xenon tube. Xenon tube is it's much harder for electricity to create an arc in air. So the xenon gas helps it connect more easily, and. So what you're seeing there is the audio signal created by your guitar or instrument amplified to roughly 3.5 thousand volts, and that is the arc and as it travels between these two electrodes that are in the tube, this electricity it creates fluctuations in the magnetic field, and you basically can use an antenna to pick up that signal. Then amplify that signal back to audio level, and that is the distorted sound here. But
how did you? Is there science to suggest that was going to work, or was this a real voyage of discovery for you, just to see what happened?
It was like a lot of these things. Is just wouldn't it be cool if like that kind of thing? Like, imagine if you could use like a mini Tesla coil. Like. It's stupid to say, but like the bug zapper is, if it's it's a basic household item. That means, okay, what is it? That's just a little step-up current transformer, and then can we use that? Because once you get in that space where you're thinking about products and thinking about things to build, you automatically connect everything to audio.
Could you not corner 2 markets now? Could you not make a fuzz pedal bug zapper?
Unfortunately,
so that literally, as you're playing guitar, you're also solving the insect problem as well. I mean, I think that could be. If you make that, I want a commission on that as well. I think that's a great idea.
Well, we were not supposed to talk about this.
Like, what was it called? Kentucky? What did you call that place?
I think it's Frog Balls.
Frog Balls, Kentucky. I can't remember. Now tell me, I know there's definitely videos that Andertons have done on the plasma pedal that you can go and watch. How is the plasma coil different to the plasma pedal, and how did that relationship kind of with Third Man start?
Okay, that's an excellent question, because we were just at Third Man yesterday, at Third Man London.
Cool.
We were doing a little bit of a pedal presentation there, and my friends Tom and Matisse, they were also doing a little bit of a motor synth and drum kit presentation. So
you haven't got a drum kit coming, have you? You got like a Gamechanger drum kit.
We got a drum like stool coming, like a drum chair.
Have you really? You haven't really? I don't know with these guys anymore. It's like, I still think there's you never know. I mean, just think, you could combine all of this stuff into a drum stool. It'd be amazing. Anyway, sorry. So is this actually a very different circuit to Plasma
like when
pedal?
when we released the Plasma pedal. So the story of us getting involved with Third Man Records is really cool. Is that we made the Plasma pedal. It took us about 6-8 months to actually make a prototype, and then we went the same route where we used crowdfunding, and then we collected pre-orders and started building them. And it was a really exciting time because the Plasma pedal like appealed to a lot of people because it's very it's kind of easy. It's kind of easy to demo a thing like this because it's wow lighting, big loud demo and whatnot. So it kind of went viral a little bit, and everyone was constantly mentioning in the comments that like, oh my God, Jack White would love this. Like this is the sound. Yeah. Obviously, Jack White's been able to get that sound before the but I mean it's something that is exactly in that same kind of genre, in that same raw vibe, and also has that same raw sound, and also we're like we're like, for those who are a little bit like movie nerds, Jack White did have a Tesla coil in that Jarmusch movie where he was showing Meg his Tesla coil. Okay. So a lot of people online were making these connections, and obviously we thought of all of that because we're also Jack White fans and so on. So it was very simple. Like we just we were checking our email, and there was an invitation to collaborate. Like, hey guys, this is cool. Jack thinks it's awesome, and we met because they were coming through Riga for a concert tour, and then discussed some things, and then it was just a very pleasant experience designing this beautiful like yellow and black faceplate and adding the octave effects, because Jack's music is kind of famous for like guitar style is famous for these momentary octave jumps and stuff like that. So we've added the secondary foot switch here, which can be switched to momentary, and you can go like, can I play it? You can do all of that stuff. And all of this like crazy octave stuff that's going on, it's based on it's also very interesting. Like it's based off rectifier circuits. So circuits that our main engineer Martin developed specifically for the Plasma. So it's got really good tracking and a totally unique sound. So it's not a digital pitch shifter or something. So it's It's
I mean. I love these two pedals. In fact, I've just put a fuzz pedal on my pedal board, and it isn't one of those, but I might revisit now and maybe put one of those on my board because it's just a great sound, and it's so much fun to watch it as well. It's like it's hypnotic sometimes when as soon as you started playing, I'm just so drawn to just watching what it does.
There's cool stuff. There's a cool like little like nuance about this. Even though it's like a really crazy distorted pedal, it's extremely quiet. So this is a Telecaster, all like wide open, just pointing into the amp, and like there is so.
Because of the gate, or
there is a natural gating process that occurs here. You need a certain amount of signal to open up to create.
I like the sound it makes as the gate closes.
Exactly,
as well.
And I wanted to show you this. Actually, this is something that I really wanted to show you because a lot of people have heard all these stories, like, and then we made the Plasma pedal. Maybe like so we've got the regular Plasma here, and let me. Perhaps you can play something, and I will just gradually keep increasing the voltage. Sorry, decreasing the voltage until there's almost no sound. This is a really cool sound, in my opinion. I think it's like Billy Gibbons type kind of broken, kind of ratty, but really like cool sound. And you have the blend knob, and then you can use that to just you can have a basic like a basic distortion pedal, like an overdrive pedal in the front of the chain, and then you can mix 50% of this kind of like crackly, gated electricity sounding thing on top. So I mean, you could now we've got it mixed with the clean signal, but it still sounds really cool. It does sound cool, right?
It's got so many layers to this pedal to have fun with. I'm drawn to the plasma coil with the octave effect on it as well. Other than the octave, is it much the same?
There is no blend knob. It's just the maximum because that seemed like a fair, fitting, decision for Jack White's.
So let's jump now from fuzz to reverb. Everybody knows I love a reverb. Okay, but this is another level of. I've never seen it done this way before. I've seen spring reverbs before. I've seen digital reverbs, all this kind of stuff. I've never seen optical reverb. You may even have to kind of again explain.
I'll try not to go for like 5 minutes. I'll just like really quickly. So this is an idea that was created by a young we took in. At some point around 2018 or 19, we took in Theodos. At the time, who was a first-year electronics student in the Riga Technical University. And we took him in with this, the job description was, okay, so he came in, he played piano, he played Wurlitzer, he shredded on guitar, he knew everything, a lot of stuff about electronics. He was extremely enthusiastic and passionate about everything, and so like, I want to build things, and we gave him a job offer, and the description was like, okay, we'll give you minimum wage, you can come in whenever you like and do whatever you want. So that's how that relationship started, and then soon he got involved into like, at first he was building clones and helping out and learning and talking to guys, and then we started giving him like jobs and and then over time he developed like he wanted to create his own circuit. So I think around 2019 we were kind of preoccupied with working on the motor synth, and the motor synth uses infrared optical light to scan rotating waveforms. So Theo came up with this basic experiment. It was like, what if I took a spring tank and I shone and I used like one of those infrared optical emitters and sensors, and like if you place the spring exactly in the middle, as you start start moving the spring, will that translate into will that signal be audible in the optical receiver?
Yeah.
So we did those basic experiments in our shed. It sounded really strange, and it actually worked. And so, of course, then the idea got refined. It took Theodore and our team like over a year to take it from the initial basic experiments to that point where it was a clean output with like a good signal to noise ratio and so on. But basically, Theodore invented this concept of using an infrared light to scan the spring's movements. And the idea behind it is that, for example, like you would with a guitar string, if you pluck the guitar string here it's trebly. And if you pluck it here, then the sound is rounder and more bassy, because there's a different movement amplitude. Basically, here the string is moving all over the place, and here the string is moving in a different way. And that's the idea for light pedal. You have those sensor pairs, which are effectively optical pickups, and you place them at different points of the spring. So then when you modulate those sensors, when you switch between them, you get actual timbral differences that create a unique effect.
I almost want to take a minute just to say, on behalf of the entire guitar community out there, thank you very much for pushing like this. It's like so many brands, and I'm used to doing the demos and I love the products as well. So many brands come to market with we managed to find this really old chip that we used to use in the day. This old.
But that is also cool.
That's what I mean. It's cool, but it's just. it's all been done before, and what's gone before, I think, has made amazing music, and it still makes great guitar tone. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but it's so important that somebody's going, what hasn't been done before?
Yeah,
you know, if we didn't have Leo Fender and I'm trying to think, Roger Mayer and all these guys sort of going, you know, what if we tried this? We'd never have any of the stuff that we know and love now. So I'm just saying, thank you very much, and we should all thank Gamechanger cool. on that behalf. I mean, you've essentially, this is a big reverb. It's got elements of modulation in there, whether that's, you know, tremolo or some sort of sweeping kind of modulation.
Yeah, you can switch between them.
Give us some, you know, I mean, I think I tend. That's fine. I mean, when I've played one before, I think I've sort of probably tended to use it as a fairly conventional big reverb. Maybe that sort of very spring kind of drippy kind of reverb. Mm-hmm. Is there anything on here that you particularly love that's a bit unique to this kind of sound?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's set it to. So first, okay, let's set it to harmonic mode, and then turn this all the way up. So this is there's a like the springs get excited, like the pedal is trying to pitch track so it's sending the sending audio information back into the springs and trying to excite the springs. Mm-hmm. So that way,
like a feedback loop type.
Kind of like that. But the idea is to try and create harmonics that live in the springs and then like emulate a shimmer. But that is coming from off of the springs.
That's not a pitch shifted shimmer. That is a natural effect of the springs vibrating.
There's a few there's a few proprietary things going on, but basically this. The pedal is sending a pitch-shifted signal back into the springs, and then you collect that pitch-shifted that signal from the vibrating spring tank. So in the end, it doesn't sound so like it is. You can say that it is produced by the vibrating springs themselves.
That's very cool. Well, again, as I said before, links below to find out some more in-depth videos on these kinds of things.
But yeah, one thing I really wanted to show about the white pedal, if that's okay, I wanted to show the thing that Tom did to your pedal earlier, where it responds to the input.
Oh, yes.
Because a lot of people really like that. And it's something that's not printed actually on the front of the panel. You just need to.
So am I let me see. So this is a volume sensitive tremolo speed. So the harder I hit, the faster. So I don't know if we can. That was just two pedals, right? And guitar players will relate to this, and I think this is the joy of, especially fuzz pedals, but there's that excitement of, I'm not 100% sure what this is actually going to do, you know, and you've really got to sort of play into it and almost just be ready to go, this pedal might not react quite how I think it's going to react, but it just creates just a really interesting, new, unique sounds. I think you could play, you know, it's very much, it inspires me to sit and try and think, I want to write or come up with riffs that are inspired by the sounds that are coming out of these pedals. They're really cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know exactly how the plasma or the light sensors will sound, or how we didn't know how the motor oscillators will sound as well. But it's just like, it's worth doing it, and then musicians will figure it out what to do with that. Let's
do the Bigsby, and then we'll finish on the motor synth. The motor synth obviously is not, you know, we have if you didn't know, we have like a sister YouTube channel where Jack, our main sort of keyboard presenter, looks after that. And Ilja and the guys were with Jack last week, so there'll be a much more in-depth conversation about there on that channel. But let's do. I mean, Bigsby, what a great idea! You know, take a Bigsby tremolo and put it on a pedal.
Yeah.
It's a, you know, I guess people, it's in that sort of whammy kind of territory, isn't it? But it's a very, in terms of a tactile way, it's a very different pedal to you know, feel under your feet, and obviously it's doing some slightly different things. So give me the, you know, tell me about the Bigsby pedal.
Yeah, the Bigsby, like I'm a big fan of rockabilly music and all that aesthetic, and I like one of the first electric guitars I ever had was one of those affordable Gretches with the thing. So I felt like I'm Brian Setzer. So I mean, like I really like that musical style, and I like the Bigsby system, and I've always thought it's really beautiful aesthetically as like a thing to have on the guitar. So we always wanted to do something like this, and I even tried to build. Like the first thing, I'm not an engineer, but one time I did try and build something. That was I built like a electromotorized Bigsby. So I took that Gretsch I had and I kind of destroyed it a little bit, but I managed to like have a working prototype of this like electromotorized Bigsby where you could take the Bigsby arm, vibrato arm, and just kind of snap it to the backwards position into like a rotating disc. And then they had like two thumb screws which you can use to change the tilt and the positioning of the rotating kind of disc. And that disc, it was like
on a motor, basically.
Yeah, that was on a portable battery pack plus motor, and then you could basically like strum a chord. And you could feel the strings like vibrating underneath your fingers because the strings are just doing this like that. So that was really, really cool, and I was very excited about that. And I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. And then obviously I realized that this is stupid. Like you can't sell that. It's not a product. It's a crazy invention, but it's a big, strange contraption with like an electromotor dangling off of your precious guitar. So
petrol engine sort of strapped to your back.
Yeah, I mean,
or something
it's a bit way out there. So that idea was kind of it. I have it documented in the video, and I still have that thing in a box somewhere. But it was proof of concept that like building things is cool.
So play. I mean, I know again you can go and watch the video that Pete and I did, but
the Bigsby, it is what it is. It's a pitch shifter, but I like to think of it this way: like the Bigsby solves a practical problem, like nice guitar but no tremolo. Oh, now I have the solution. Now I have the solution for that. So it just solves a problem. You can put this on your board, and then you can leave your Gretsch at home, even because you just need it for one song, for that dive or something like that. So, but secondly, I think it's cool that this allows you to add that vibrato arm effect or playing style to an acoustic guitar, to a banjo, to a mandolin, to a bass guitar, and so on, or to a synth. Or to, for example, like with the plus pedal, you can take a mono synth and you can make layers and expand on the mono synth. The same as with the Bigsby, you can use it for instruments that don't have that functionality like available at all. And another thing I really like about the Bigsby is that it allows you to play in different ways. So in a different way, like you can approach phrasing. So that's like a double bend that could not have been possible with the... Like I can't... So these double bends are pretty cool, and like I hope I'll hear that someday on a song, and that would feel great.
You're using your Bigsby that as you press the pedal down, the pitch is going up.
Oh yeah, right now
that's a choice. You can spin it either way.
You can invert it. I was doing that because we were doing the intro jam, and that's another thing. Like you can do, I don't know, just you can approach. Like you can have your chord, you have your like strumming hand busy with something, and then introduce that vibrato arm movement, even though strumming is going on at the same time, which is also like a sound that's not been that you can't often find.
The tracking on it as well is phenomenal. So, well, look, again, links below if you want to find out more. I am fascinated to see this thing. It kind of, I think if you're of, a generation that grew up, I mean, I'm a bit too young for having like reel-to-reel machines at home, but I certainly remember, all my music being on cassette tapes. And so I'm sort of fascinated just sort of watching any sort of movement here. But is it possible in like a sort of, 60 seconds to just kind of sum up this sense that how would a normal synth make a noise, and how does this synth differ from that in the terms of how it's making its noise?
Okay. Synthesizers are generally classified in two groups nowadays. Analog oscillators, and then you have digital oscillators. And we just thought, okay, let's make mechanical oscillators.
So that's what I was just about to say. Yeah. So this is as mechanical as it can possibly
it's mechanical
be. It's just a moving
When you
part.
think about it, an electromotor is an oscillator. It moves, but it's a mechanical system. We just noticed that basically, thanks to the flying drone industry that drove the technology to a very affordable and reliable place, we could get these precisely controllable modern brushless DC electromotors, and we could write software for them to like have musical control over their rotation speed.
But it's the light reflecting off the oscillator, the moving part, that is what's creating the way it affects the
waveforms.
The waveforms.
So there's waveforms.
I must admit, this is so far out of my comfort zone. It's unbelievable, but it's just amazing.
I mean, like there's as they spin, there's electrical coils. So if you and then we have like the basic idea was like if you took a handheld drill and placed it next to a guitar pickup, you would get an inductive sound.
Yeah.
You would get that motors rotating coils. Like you would get this. You will be able to pick up those coils as they move with a guitar pickup. So that's essentially what's happening here only on a smaller scale. So there's 8 electromotors, and each electromotor is equipped with its own little inductive pickup. So that's one way how you get waves, and that waveform is called the M wave, the magnetic wave or the motor wave. And then, as you can see, there's these nice strobing, like reflective discs that are mounted onto the shafts of each motor. And we just wanted to create, we wanted to give the motor system more variety and versatility. And we thought, okay, how do we squeeze out more sounds out of it? Because we have the M wave, okay, we've got that. So what next? Obviously filtering, amp envelopes, modulation, all that, but we wanted to expand on the source, like give it more waveforms, and then we kind of implemented this optical waveform idea. Basically, there's the discs that are mounted onto the motors. They have 3 graphical representations of waveforms printed on them, and as the disc spins, the infrared light scans that, and that's the very short version of that. So we have the sine wave, sawtooth wave, and a square wave, and the M wave. So that's 4 wave shapes that the motor system can produce, and then, you use all the other knobs to change sound and to manipulate those source waveforms. But again, we weren't saying that like, oh, we will make a better like sounding oscillator or something, whatever. Like the most important thing for us is that we were sure that it will have its own sound, and then musicians will do the rest.
And there's a huge community of people into analog synths that'll be going nuts for this kind of thing. So I need to kind of wrap up now. So is there technology now that you're beginning to get, that you've developed in motor synth that you're going, this could be a guitar pedal thing? Is there, what's the next, without giving any sort of secrets away, but, what's the next big thing for you?
Well, our primary audience is the guitar community for sure. We started off the motor synth simply out of like technical curiosity or something like that. We deliberately like said yes, let's go off on a bit of a tangent, but this is too exciting to not do.
Yeah.
And we feel like in terms of product design, interface design, and electronics engineering, manufacturing, I think like we passed we have the PhD now. Honestly, having built this, I think now building simpler things such as guitar pedals will be a much faster process for us. It's like we feel really confident because we learned so many things thanks to the Motor Synth project. But as you also said correctly, like Theodore used that optical infrared sensors that were first implemented here for the optical wave shapes. He repurposed that to scan the spring tank. So we also do have our own little knowledge base going already. It's been 5-6 years, but if you count the prototyping years, also that's 7-8 years of experience now. So we do kind of have our own framework already, and we want to do more guitar pedals, but we also want to do things that like live in the synthesizer electronic music world as well. So we're gonna try to just do both.
Well, honestly,
bring those two worlds closer together.
It's fascinating to sort of feel like we could have been part of this sort of early journey with you, and I've really loved it. I'm super excited to see where this comes from. You know, you guys are all super young still, and again, I love, I just love that. All of a sudden, you meet people from different countries, and who would have thought that that Latvia would become the sort of the world epicenter of sort of driving this kind of new technology along. It's just amazing. It's super cool.
I hope we can inspire other companies.
That's what it's all about, right? Yeah.
Because I think there was a time where honestly when there was just like literally clones, and it was not. I don't know. I actually think the industry is doing really cool. Really, like it's so cool to see so many interesting looking designs and shapes. And I think it's the best time to start building new things.
I don't know how this video is going to end. I know I'm leaving shortly. I believe the Gamechanger guys might do a little performance, is from what I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for coming over. Congratulations with your success, and I genuinely hope that it continues for you. Thank you guys for watching. Please go check out Gamechanger, support their range, check out their videos and stuff. Buy them from Andertons. Hey, that'd be a novel thing, right? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in another video soon. Bye-bye.